Hey YouTube, my name is Brett and I am 23 years old and I just graduated college last year and I'm headed to grad school now. And right now I'm visiting my family back in my hometown, a small rural place, about 3,000 people. And it kind of reminded me of a lot of good things and a lot of uncomfortable things that I kind of went through as a young man. And YouTube, in so many ways, helped me get through those sort of formative years. And though I never really thought I would do this, in fact, probably a year ago, I probably would have said never. Um, I felt that it was important to share my story so that other people could be, or maybe hopefully find, something valuable out of what I'm sharing. I'm a little nervous right now, so excuse my mannerisms. But um, yeah, so I'm gay. And growing up in a rural place, a very conservative, very, very religious place, it was sort of uncomfortable. There wasn't a lot of support, anywhere in the community. I didn't feel that I could go talk to my counselor or a teacher because everyone knew everyone, and I didn't think my family would be okay with that, and my friends would definitely not be okay with it. So I was the most closeted person you could be, and I looked to sports, and I looked to clubs, and all these other ways to define myself. And I wish there'd just been someone there to say, hey, you know, it's okay, or someone that I felt comfortable talking to. And there wasn't, so I turned to YouTube. And there were all these kind of incredible people telling their story, being really brave in a place that still, wasn't really supportive. And I don't mean my hometown, I mean just generally. So I, kind of started following that and looking at the conversation. And from afar, it was this safe place where no one was there to judge me. And I was really kind of behind a lot of firewalls, if you will, because I could watch it and no one would know I was watching it. And it helped a lot. A lot of the guilt, a lot of the confusion was eased because of these people who were sharing that experience with me, from sometimes thousands of miles away, but with me still. And it kind of got me through high school. And the first thing I thought of when I was getting ready to become a senior was, how could I get as far away from my hometown as possible? How could I get somewhere that would accept me? And so I went to probably the most liberal school in the country, NYU, and over the 4 years, I still didn't come out to anyone. I didn't tell a soul that I was gay, even though I was in probably the most accepting environment I possibly could have been in. And I kind of didn't let myself kind of deal with the issue. I very much kind of isolated and compartmentalized that aspect of me, and went on, just being involved in stuff and defining myself in all these different ways in a place that I could have been just me. And then about halfway through my senior year, one of my best friends in the world named Mandy kind of sat me down, and she knew something was wrong. She knew I was uncomfortable, and she could sense that there was something kind of growing in me that needed to be let out. And she kind of sat me down on a couch, and she was on a couch facing that one. And it took me about a couple hours, probably, just sitting there. My heart was beating so fast, and she just kept saying, what's wrong, Brett? What's wrong with you? What's wrong? And I finally let it out, the first time I ever said the words, I'm gay. And I was so afraid of her reaction. And she just looked at me and was like, that makes me respect you so much more. That you kind of went through all that you did and all these things, knowing that you were gay and knowing that it might not be accepted. And it kind of lifted this weight from my chest. I was just crying, and I was, it just felt so good to have that out there and for someone to accept me for it, or with it. And it was still hard. I didn't really talk about it. I didn't really do anything with it for a long time. And then a few months later in New York, another friend sort of kind of pried it out of me as well. And after that second time, I was like, I never really let myself consider what life could be like if I had just accepted myself, or if I did just accept myself, and if I was out there and not afraid to kind of show who I was. And after telling that second person, I was like, oh, this is something that could be a reality. I could have a life, a family, all these things I didn't think were possible could be possible. And so over the last year, I've sort of slowly come to terms with it. Personally, I've become fully okay with myself. I'm happy with who I am, and probably happier than I've ever been. And then it was slow, sort of the slow letting all the important people in my life know. And reactions were generally very positive. Kind of surprising to me, my siblings were. I have three younger siblings, and they were all super, super supportive. Like kind of incredibly so. And then some people had a hard time. My mom had a hard time, but still supportive in their own way. And then I kind of like now to today, and I haven't really publicly made an announcement or anything, although I guess this is probably one of the most public places one could do so. And I'm interested in this conversation that's happening. We just had a Supreme Court ruling that made marriage equality the law of the land, and I see these reactions from conservative places like where I grew up, where people are still being denied, the right to marry. And I felt that it was important to contribute and be a part of that conversation. And I've watched YouTube, a community that really, strangely, is very dynamic and kind of close-knit in a way, begin to have that conversation. And I just wanted to play a part in it and provide a space for people to kind of, both, identify with someone who might be going through something similar and have a conversation about these major issues that are facing the LGBTQ community and beyond. So this is my debut, and if you're interested and like what you saw, then feel free to comment or communicate however. And I would love to hear what you have to think about some of the major issues that we're facing today. And yeah, so maybe I'll shoot up a new video in the next couple weeks and sort of see how the conversation goes. But anyway, thanks for listening. This is kind of uncharacteristic of me, I guess, but I'm really happy to be doing so and interested to see how the YouTube community responds. Take care. Bye.